Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to the final edition of the Batwoman Season 1 review series, and today I'm going to be talking about episode 20, which is called Oh Mouse, and this is the season finale for Season 1. And before I get into talking about the 20th episode, there are a couple things I want to quickly mention. The first one being that after having watched this episode, we've been left with more questions than answers, and we're left with more questions heading into Season 2, and Season 2 is going to be a very different season to Season 1, which I will talk about at the end of this review. And what did I think of this episode overall? I thought it was okay. I don't think it was as epic as Season 1's Flash, or maybe Season 1's Arrow, or even Season 1's Supergirl, or even Black Lightning, or even Legends of Tomorrow. There was some good moments, a pretty solid episode, but the reason why this episode feels a little bit clunky in some places is because they've had to change things around, especially with everything that's been going on in the world. I think we was originally supposed to get 22 episodes, which has always been the case for lots of the CW Arrowverse shows. So we've got 20 episodes instead of 22. So that's why it feels not complete. But overall, I would say this episode was good. Didn't really feel like a season finale, which is what I just explained already. But there was some good moments. The twist at the end was very interesting and very shocking, because it was something that I wasn't really expecting. But it does set up for a very interesting Season 2, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to address the ending for this episode, which I will get into momentarily. So, with that all said, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about episode 20, Oh Mouse. So this episode begins with an escapee from Arkham Asylum, who is a football player turned murderer and goes by the name Titan, boards a Gotham train and starts attacking a civilian. Jacob Kane and a plainclothes Kate try to fight him off, but to no avail, and Kate and Luke find the remaining shard of kryptonite that Bruce Wayne kept in the Batcave, which he was apparently hiding for Superman in the likelihood that Superman would ever turn rogue, and they try to decide how to destroy it before Alice can get to it. Now, at the end of episode 19, Alice mentioned that they need kryptonite if they're going to finish what they're doing, so this is more or less trying to keep the kryptonite away from Alice. Mary arrives and provides information about Titan and his potential whereabouts. Kate decides to investigate Titan's brother, but Mary worries about her doing so while wearing the Batsuit. Kate remains convinced that she can change Jacob and the Crow's mind about Batwoman. Mary worries about Kate going out into the field while Luke performs tests to try to destroy kryptonite. Mary suggests that he use a hammer to smash it into dust. Meanwhile, Batwoman visits Titan's brother Apollo in Gotham's football stadium. Suddenly, Titan arrives and begins to fight Batwoman. Titan kills his brother Apollo, then leaves. Jacob and the Crows arrive at the scene of Apollo's murder, and Jacob declares that Batwoman is a menace on television. Kate and Mary watch the broadcast from the Batcave while Mary tries to tend to Kate's injuries. Mary, Luke and Julia all suggest that she take a break to heal, but Kate argues that it's worth pursuing Titan. They realise that Titan is targeting the doctors who covered up his brain trauma while he was a football player. Mary concocts a plan, going to the bat signal and drawing out the Crow so that Jacob will agree to talk to Batwoman over the phone. Smart idea. Batwoman suggests that they team up to fight Titan, but Jacob initially refuses. Jacob and Mary fight over whether or not to trust Batwoman, and Batwoman arrives, offering a truce to help fight Titan. Jacob reluctantly accepts her help. The Crows and Batwoman use Titan's former coach to draw Titan out to Gotham's football stadium. Sophie and Julia are surprised to find that Batwoman and the Crows are working together and rush to help Kate. While they stake out the stadium, Titan cuts off the powers and begins to attack various Crows members. Batwoman fights Titan, but stops midway through, reminding him that he can be more than just his trauma. He admits that he didn't want to be a monster, just as the Crows shoot and kill him. They then decide to shoot Batwoman, but she rappels into the ceiling of the stadium and escapes, just as Julie and Sophie arrive. Sophie confronts Jacob about what's happened, but he argues that Batwoman is a menace. Sophie begins to doubt Julia and their relationship, but Julia decides to come clean and begins to tell her about Sapphire. She reveals that Sapphire's agents have been stalking the two of them and taking photos. Meanwhile, back at Wayne Tower, Mary tries to comfort Kate about what's happened with the Crows. They both agree that they feel betrayed by Jacob, and Kate worries that Jacob doesn't love her anymore. Luke arrives and reveals that he's found a way to destroy the kryptonite, thanks to Mary's hammer idea. Mary blows the dust across the room, but Kate reveals that she has a second piece of kryptonite from what's happened during the Crisis event with Supergirl. Kate asks Luke and Mary to trust her with a piece of kryptonite until she can talk to Kara about what to do with it. Jacob is given a series of bullet casings from the fights with Batwoman and realises that he needs to find something stronger to kill her. Oh, this is getting a bit intense. Meanwhile, Mouse worries that the Crows are going to find and kill him and Alice, and he suggests that they leave Gotham together. Alice refuses and continues to focus on Lucius Fox's journal. Meanwhile, Tommy Elliot grows upset about not having a proper face, and Alice decides to go to the morgue to find one. Oh boy, you know where this is going. Alice visits a geology professor named Professor Darby about kryptonite. He reveals that the sample he tested was sent back to Wayne Enterprises, and she gets frustrated and bludgeons him with the rock. Alice returns to the sewers without the kryptonite and works on Tommy's new face, while Mouse questions if they're going to get themselves killed in the crusade against Jacob and Kate. Mouse asks Alice to leave with him, and she agrees as long as they do it the right way. Alice suggests a trauma bond exercise, destroying the thing that bonds them to the trauma of their past so they can move on. To do so, they burn their copy of Alice in Wonderland so they can move on from what's happened to them during their days in prison together. Mouse's nose begins to bleed, and Alice reveals it's because she poisoned him as penance for making her choose between both sides of her life. She cradles him and tells him goodbye as he dies in her arms. Alice gives Tommy his new face, which he recognises as none other than the face of Bruce Wayne. She tells Tommy to use his new face to go to Wayne Tower and steal the kryptonite from Kate. And that's how we wrap up season 1. You know, the actor they've chosen to play Bruce Wayne, I don't really know much about him. You know, I don't think I've ever seen him before. Maybe he might have appeared in another CW episode somewhere or another show, but I don't know really. He doesn't look or scream Bruce Wayne to me, but with the fact that Bruce Wayne's been missing for years, and now that Thomas Elliot has the face of Bruce Wayne, and obviously he'll make a public appearance sometime down the road in season 2, it is going to be very interesting how they're going to address Bruce Wayne for season 2. And I can't help but feel that maybe Supergirl was supposed to have a cameo somewhere in this episode, because they did reference her a number of times, and the kryptonite plays a big part of this episode. But as I said, more questions than answers, and as I said, overall this episode was pretty good. As I've mentioned already, it's a bit clunky because they've had to change some things around. So what did I think of season 1 overall? I wouldn't say it was terrible. It was very up and down in some places. The first half, episodes 1 to 8, before the Crisis event, there were about a couple of episodes that were pretty good, maybe about 2 or 3. The post-Crisis episodes 10 to 20, a little bit better, some very good episodes, but altogether I would say season 1 was pretty average, and a lot of that is due to the writing. So hopefully season 2 will be a lot better, but we'll just have to wait and see, really. Now, I've mentioned already that season 2 will be very different to the first one, and that's mainly because when season 2 returns, we will have a new series lead, and that is none other than Javicia Leslie, who will be playing Batwoman and has taken over from Ruby Rose after she walked away from the role just after completing season 1. Now, this will make for a very interesting change of dynamic, and it is going to be very interesting going forward how they're going to address the fact that Kate Kane is no longer Batwoman and that she's no longer around. And, you know, as far as Javicia Leslie is concerned, I don't really know a lot about her. I've heard lots of good things about her. I've heard that she's a very good actress, but I'm going to withhold my opinion until I've actually seen the first episode or a trailer of her in action. But I really hope she does a good job. I hope she's well written, and I hope she's showcased to the fullest, and season 2 is going to be very, very interesting going forward, and I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to pull this off. So with that all said, I'm going to wrap this up now, and I want to say a special thank you to Ruby Rose for her contributions to season 1 of Batwoman and to the Arrowverse overall, and I wish her nothing but the best. And best of luck to Javicia Leslie, and I know she's going to do a fantastic job, and I have no doubt she will deliver. So, what did you think of season 1 of Batwoman? Did you think it was good? Did you have any favourite episodes? What's your thoughts on Thomas Elliot wearing the face of Bruce Wayne? How do you think they will address that going forward into season 2? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and the next time I probably will be back will be to talk about the first episode of season 2. So should be very interesting and should be very, very good. And thanks for listening, and hope you've enjoyed listening to me talking about all 20 episodes of the first season, and I will see all of you next time. So till then, take care everybody and stay safe. Bye for now.